Hi, this is Mary Jo Webster. This is video 3 in a series on spreadsheet refresher on some basics in spreadsheets. Okay, so we're back in day 1 intermediate spreadsheet, Google Sheet. We're going to work in a sheet called Pop Estimates. Now you can see we've exploded the amount of data that we have compared to the previous exercises. This is population estimates from the U.S. Census Bureau for every county in the United States, and it has estimates from 2010 through 2018. So each these columns is a different year with that population estimate. And you could see if you start scrolling, every county in the US is here. So there's thousands of rows of data. It's a lot. So when you get something like this, filtering is a good way to kind of get a sense of what you have here. And so we'll go up into the data menu and choose create a filter, or you can turn the filter on in your menu bar where it has a little filter image, create a filter, and we turn on our filters. So if you look at each one, so we'll look at column A, region. You'll see we have 4 regions: Midwest, Northeast, South, and West. So we could uncheck these other ones, and I want to look at Midwest. So here's the states that it considers Midwest. Now that I have it filtered to Midwest, if I pull the filter down for state name, now it shows me the states that it considers in the Midwest, or that it has flagged as Midwest. So Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Michigan, Midwest, Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, North Dakota, Ohio, South Dakota, Wisconsin. There's a huge debate about what is Midwest, but this is what I think of as the Midwest. So those are the states that we could filter this again, and we could say, let's clear, and I want Minnesota and Wisconsin, for example. Now I have counties in Minnesota and counties in Wisconsin, and that's all that it's showing me. The others are hiding because we filtered them out. So you could, this is a good way to, if you decide I only want to do my analysis on some of these, you could filter it down like this and copy and paste this out to another sheet so you only have these rows and you're not getting mucked up with your other rows. But sometimes you do want all the rows, so keep that in mind. I'm going to clear this filter so it puts me, actually I'm going to say select all, so I puts them all back on. And now we're still in the Midwest, so I will select all again and get out of the Midwest. We can go to county name and we could filter to a particular county. So I'm going to say clear, and I'm going to search for Ramsey County, which is where I live, R-A-M-S-E-Y. Make sure it gets checked and say okay. Oh, there's 2 Ramsey counties. There's one in North Dakota and there's one in Minnesota. Good to know. I want the one in Minnesota, so I'm going to go to state name and uncheck North Dakota and say okay. So now I can just look at this one county and I can get a sense of what's here. You can see the population has not grown all that much compared to some other places in the US. All right, so if we want to just like say, I'm done with my filters, you can just go up here in your menu bar and say remove filter, just turn the whole thing off, and it returns all your rows. We can also, this is a really good thing to practice sorting on because there's so many records, it's hard to know what you want. So we could say, what's the county with the largest population in 2018? So remember, again, we need our cursor in our data. We can do Control A on Windows, Command A on a Mac. Go up to the data menu, sort range, advanced range sorting options. And then data as header row. This is super important in this data set because there's so many columns. If you don't choose data as header row, first of all, that header row will get sorted into your rows when you try to sort, and you're just given these column A, B, C, D, etc., and so you don't really know what you're sorting by. So data as header row, and we can say pop estimate 2018, Z to A to get the biggest one on top. So what's the biggest county in the United States? Say sort. Los Angeles, right where we're sitting. could have predicted that, right? Now, we can filter this and say, well, what are the biggest counties in California? Obviously, we're going to see a bunch of them here. They're already up here in the top of the list, even in this national list. But we could turn those filters back on, and we could say, I only want counties that are in California. So I'll say clear. I'm going to type California, or just put Cali, and it'll pop up, California. Say OK. Because we've already sorted it by population size in 2018, it should already be showing you the California counties going in Z to A order of the largest down to the smallest, Alpine County being the smallest. You shouldn't have to resort if you've already done it at that, you did it for the whole data set, now you filtered it down. Now, if you do it for, let's say we sorted it here. So let's let's change our sort. We'll do Control A again and do, so now we want to, let's sort by that 2010 population. What were the biggest in 2010? So we Control A, data menu, sort range, advanced range sorting options, data has hetero. This time I want to do by the population estimates in 2010, Z to A, sort. Now, not a whole lot changed in our California list, right? But if we take off the filter, so let's take off the state of California and select all, say OK. This is not necessarily going to be sorted by the 2010 population anymore. In fact, you could see it here. Kings County should be ahead of Dallas County, but it's not, because these underlying states that we hid while we were filtered to California are still sorted by the 2018 population. So it's always a good idea when you're turning filters on and off and you want to sort again, you should probably make sure you've got the right sort. So I'm going to do Control A, data menu, sort range, advanced range sorting options, data has hetero, and sort by that 2010 population, Z to A, sort. Now we can see Kings County did move up a couple notches above Dallas County, quite honestly. So don't assume that just because you just sorted it and you're just turning filters on and off that it's going to be in the right order. Make sure you do that. Repeat that step of sorting again one more time, especially when you have so many numbers like this that look so much like each other. We'll do one more thing here, is that these numbers are kind of hard to see. There's a lot of formatting you can do with dollars and percentages and things like that, and all those tools are up here on the menu bar. So we can highlight all of our pop estimate columns. Just use your arrow tool and drag across, and we can tell it to make it a number. So right now it gives us a few handful of common ones that you might want to use, but then this 1, 2, 3 has more formats. And you can also get to this from the format menu up there at the top. And then here it's number, and it's showing you what it's going to look like. It's going to have a comma for 1,000 separator, and it's going to have decimals, which is okay. We can deal with that in a second. So we can just change it to number. And then we don't want those decimals, so you can go up here and say decrease decimal places and get rid of them, because we don't have decimals here. So now that is a little easier to read. We can see those millions and look at that differently. So that's a lot of filtering and sorting, some formatting. One more thing I'll throw in here if you want to hide something. So like, let's say this division column is just, you don't want it. You can highlight this and right mouse click and choose hide column. There it is in the middle, hide column. And it just hides, and now we see these little arrows here indicating, and it goes from A to C, so we know we're missing a column. Now if you want to return that column, highlight your A and your C, before and after your hidden column, right mouse click and choose unhide columns. And notice, remember that unhide columns wasn't there before because we didn't have anything hidden. But now it's here because there's something hidden, and you say unhide and it'll come back. So that works really good, especially in these, when you have all these years of data. Let's say you really only care about 2018 and 2010. You don't care about the in-between years. You can highlight all of those columns in one swoop, right mouse click and choose hide columns. And now they all are hidden. I think that is a better approach than deleting things, because what if you change your mind and realize, oh, I needed that, I shouldn't have deleted that. So hiding is a good way to get rid of, just get things out of your way if you don't think you need it for your analysis.